What did you eat and only realize afterwards what it was? Hi, my name is Kat, and if you're new here, this is a YouTube channel that is very unpolished, very much just for fun. And today I'm going to be answering some of the questions I've received over the years since I've moved to Korea, as well as some of the questions I asked you guys who will be curious in hearing the answer to. So this is that video. I should address something. Why am I sitting in my kitchen? Because this is the only place where I can balance this camera to film this video. So welcome to my styled kitchen. It most definitely always looks like this, and that is sarcasm. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. First question is, what did you eat and only realize afterwards what it was? It was a school lunch, it was a soup, and I looked at my co-teacher and she was just chewed it and stuff, and I was like, okay, cool, that's what we're doing. To be frank with you, a lot of things I eat in Korea was basically monkey see, monkey do, which is how you figure out how to eat most foods if you have no idea. So, took a bite, chewed it, had a very weird texture. I could taste it with seafood. I had no idea what it was. Turns out it's songtan, which is a sea pineapple. And I'm gonna try and show you what it looks like. The texture of eating it is like, it pops in your mouth. And what I did not know is that you're supposed to spit out the shell after you've chewed and popped out all of the soft meat pieces inside. I went to my co-teacher and she had actually like this neat little pile of chewed shells on her plate, and I was like, oh, okay, that's what we're doing. And it's quite an adventure to eat it. It doesn't taste like anything particularly. It was just tasted like the soup. But it's now something I avoid. On to the next question. Social life in Korea. Well, pre-COVID times, it was very easy to socialize. There are many bars, there are clubs, there are just your mom and pop shops where you could have beer and cook Korean barbecue with your friends. You can pop down to any convenience store and they have a fully stocked fridge of beers, international alcohols. It brings me to another question that was asked here, which was traditional Korean drinks. I happen to have two in my house. This one is soju. You've most definitely seen this in K-dramas, on TV. This is your pretty standard soju. They come in flavors, they come sparkling, all of that. You can drink it straight, or you can have it mixed. I have makgeolli. So makgeolli is a rice wine and a chestnut flavored, which is album in Korean. You mix it, you drink these in like the beer glasses, and it's seen as less socially bad to drink this alone. If you are drinking soju alone in your house, you are seen as a sad person and you have problems, because soju is something you share with your friends. Traditional foods, I'm very lucky I get to eat every single day traditional Korean food because of my school lunches, but you can easily find any shops that serve traditional Korean food. It'll be a mom and pop shop, and usually they serve one dish and like different varieties of that dish. You could get a dumpling shop and they specialize in all these different kind of dumplings, which is pretty incredible and really cheap. Traditional food, way cheaper. What is your favorite foods? Manduguk, which is just dumpling soup. I don't know why, it's just, I like it. It's my comfort food. There is one place I will always order from in my city, and they send it to your house with a little side dish as well. Best and worst about living in Korea. Depends on what you expect when you come to Korea and how you're going about living in Korea. So if you're someone that just is negative by nature, you will only see the negative and you will bypass a lot of the positive. Yes, there are things that happen that are very unfair. There are a lot of stereotypes portrayed in the media, and a lot of people come to Korea having just used those stereotypes and K-dramas and sort of doing proper research on how to respect culture, at least how to read the language, cultural norms on how to show respect. Stuff like that is really important in this country. On the good side, safety is one of the best things. I've mentioned it so many times in my videos. It is just incredibly safe to walk around here at night. You can be on your phone. You leave your valuables at a coffee table in a cafe And that's sort of your way of saying, oh, this table is occupied, and you can leave. You can go to another shop and go buy stuff you need, or you can go to the bathroom and then come back and no one would have touched your stuff. The convenience in public transport is also amazing. I mean, there are buses, several buses on several routes that come every 10 to 15 minutes. Taxis are super easy to navigate. You don't even have to speak Korean to be able to use a taxi. You just need to have the address. There have been a few cases where I've heard where people said they were refused a taxi, and that happens a lot in the bigger cities, but I'm in one of the smaller cities and pretty much the drivers don't care who they pick up. Next question is, how is the cost of living, and do you have enough free time to explore as well? So the cost of living is pretty affordable if, again, this pertains to each person. If you are someone that likes to shop a lot, or if you are someone that is here to pay off student loans, if you are someone who is here to travel as much as you can, like, it all depends on where your priorities lie. For me, I wanted to put away savings and I wanted to explore Korea a bit. A lot of my friends have gone to Japan, have gone to Vietnam and to Thailand, all of this pre-COVID, and they could manage it very easily by just reshuffling their financial priorities. I would say that cost of living is about 20% more expensive than it is in South Africa. For example, in South Africa, to order a cappuccino, it would be 25 to 30 rand. In Korea, your black coffee is from 2,500 won to 4,500 won, and your lattes are 4,500 to 6,500. The bus system is also really cheap. You would pay, for example, 1,250 won for the entire route, regardless of where you got on and off. And when you get off, because you have to switch buses, you tap, and your next ride is then counted as part of your initial fee. You don't pay again. When it comes to groceries, the food here doesn't last as long. And by this I mean, like, your vegetables don't last as long, they go off pretty quickly, as well as your fruits. When you do buy fruits, because they're so expensive here, they're like ridiculously expensive, fruits are given as like a gift, and you bring fruits to, for example, if you meet your in-laws for the first time, you would bring them expensive fruits and maybe some flowers, and because of that aspect of the culture, fruits are seen as more, not as a necessity really, so they're pretty highly priced. Meat, seafood, basic proteins are really cheap here. As a vegan or a vegetarian, you're going to struggle more if you are not in a big city like Seoul, Daegu, or Busan. Next question is it easy to make friends there? This depends on you. I would say if you're a very social person, it would be very easy to just make friends. You don't make lasting friendships really, because everyone is here for a temporary time. Yes, there are exceptions to that rule, but most people are just here for a temporary period and then they go back to their homes and you lose contact. I'm not saying that as everyone, but it is definitely the majority of the people you will have here are either coming for a year, for 2 years, 3 years max. I say this because I've experienced it. Korea's friendships are very cliquey, and not in a way that we understand it as foreigners. More like people meet their friends in high school, university, in their work environments, and then those people stay friends. It's really rare that a new person will come and join the group and be a friend, because age is a big factor here. So people from different ages have language requirements, social, like cultural requirements. Like, the difference in age is a big deal, so it's really hard for people to make friends of different ages. Like, everyone in a friend group is usually the same age, or 1 year older or 1 year younger. So making friends here, if you were in a university, if you're in an exchange program, I think it would be easier, because you would have the foreigners in your group that you could befriend, and then people who are in their Korean university that are integrate you into the university life, they would also become your friends. But as a professional, if you're a teacher, you would maybe make friends with your orientation group. It depends on the environment you're in. It's not so easy to make friends, because I've been on the receiving end of a lot of people wanting to be my friend to have free English. But there are very good people in my life that I'm really happy I've met them, and I met most of them with either language classes or they arrived in the same intake as me, and we were in the same orientation, and we sort of like glued together, because the fastest way to getting settled in a country is to have your community around you, to just give you that sense of stability. Do you have to have a degree in education to work there as a teacher, or is a BA Gen or like general fine? No, you don't. You just need to have a 3 to 4 year degree in English in a country that is recognized as English as one of its official languages, and then you need to complete your online TEFL course, and then you qualify. There are a few more steps in between, but those are the basic ones to see if you qualify to come to Korea. Your experience teaching in Korea. I am interested in teaching overseas when done with my BEd degree. So, well, congratulations, you are in the right field to do this kind of job. It is interesting, and where some schools will expect you to be the main teacher and other schools will expect you just to be the GET, which is the guest English teacher. So you'll hear me mention a few times my manager and my co-teacher. So the difference is, manager is the person in control of my admin. This person does all your paperwork, helps you with your visa. If you have any housing problems, that person's in charge of helping you. They are sort of your Korean go-between to make life easier for you in Korea. Then my co-teacher is the person I teach with in class. This person is supposed to be the main English teacher, and I am just supposed to be assisting them. In some schools, they don't have official English teachers, and you as the guest English teacher are supposed to be the one running, planning, and leading the classes. And you will have a homeroom teacher in the class, sort of to just basic translation, and you'll have a person there to sort of help you keep the kids quiet, because classroom management is not easy. I've had a combination of both. In the beginning, I worked 50-50 with my co-teacher and with the head teacher of the school, who also taught English. She just wanted me to teach 15 minutes of English games for the kids. The year after that, I have more of a 50-50 relationship with both of my co-teachers. We'll sit down and we'll say, okay, you're gonna teach this section and you're gonna teach this section. But now that we know each other's teaching styles, it's easy to go between what we need from each other, and it's easier to communicate. It's also a relationship you have to work at, and I am incredibly lucky to have this relationship with my coworkers, because I've heard nightmare stories from my friends and their relationship with their co-teachers and their managers. So my experience in that regard has been I've been pretty lucky, and it's changed every year, and each year it's been really good. Say, prepare for everything. Like, don't have super high expectations when it comes to your working relationship with your manager or your co-teachers or even your homeroom teachers at the school. Just sort of go in there, be nice, be polite. I spend a lot of time first year sort of researching my games, getting to know the syllabus. The second year was a lot easier because I already had the game. I already had the knowledge of the lesson. I already had what I learned from my previous year and how I would change things this year. So you only get better, and it does take you about a month to settle into your teaching style, into your relationship with your co-teachers and all of that. So give it time. It is long hours. You do work a full day, and you get your weekends to yourself. There are 26 leave days in a year, and you get red days, which are the public holidays that the school also has off. So yeah, that is my experience teaching in Korea. Next question, can you get by with only English? Yes, you can. Even in a smaller city, but I would say in a rural city, you'd need to have some Korean. You can't always count on finding someone that speaks English. That is my takeaway from that point. Taxi drivers don't speak English if you're not in a big city, so you need to be able to at least have the address written down in Korean to show them. A lot of the bus stops and the bus routes are in Korean unless it's a major city, in which the announcements on the bus will be in English too. Being able to order food or read the menu and recognize what you're reading is also very helpful. But there are also apps like Papago and Google Translate that you could use. I would highly recommend Papago though, because it was designed with Asian languages in mind. It has the camera function where you can take a picture and it'll translate the sentence for you. Next question is, what is the weather like at the Mo? I guess they mean the moment. Right now we're heading into spring. It's finally started warming up just a little bit. The mornings are still a little bit chilly, the evenings are still chilly, but the day nicer. I still have to wear jackets to work. We still put on the heaters in the classroom. Kids still wear jackets in class. But we're on our way to a swelteringly humid summer. This question is, what's so far your favorite experience within Korea? I really loved a summer vacation I had in Busan in my first year here. A hotel with a friend, decided on one trip a day to go and see something on our list. We went to the aquarium, we went to one of the film museums, we went to the Busan fish market, we explored the big shopping centers, we went to a ring making workshop. It was really nice, it was really fun. Walked around the vintage market area in Busan, we explored the culture village. Honestly, we had a blast. The only thing that we weren't aware of was that it was going to be so humid, because this was both our first summer in Korea. And not only was it humid, there were monsoon rain, so it was hot and sticky rain. It was so uncomfortable. You would walk out of an air-conditioned shop and it would feel like you walked into water, because that's how humid it was. But don't do Asia in the summer, guys. Don't do Asia in the summer. That's my one takeaway. I thought I would have led this. I've done Hong Kong in the summer and I've done Japan in the summer. And now I try to survive Korea in the summer. So thank you so much for tuning in. And this is me answering some of your questions. I hope I answered enough. I hope I gave you enough insight, or at least made you curious enough so that you could check out the rest for yourself. And thank you so much for watching.